Boundaries. They're great for us. They give us order and stability and clarity in our lives. But if we know that, and I think most of the people agree with that, why do we have such a hard time executing them? Well, it's because the areas that we struggle to execute them are the same areas that we have struggles, unresolved, unhealed struggles in our heart. So we can't execute them until those parts of our heart are in the process of being healed. One of my favorite verses that I think sets an example for boundaries is Proverbs 4:23. And it says to guard your heart above all else because out of it flows the issues of life. Another version says to guard your heart for it determines the course in your life. And what happens is people, me included, we have a tendency to guard the part of our heart that's been injured because we don't want it injured again. I mean, that's a natural response. But if we're not purposed in submitting that part of our heart and opening it up to godly people who can speak love and truth and stand with us and help us to process those issues or pain or whatever, then we are not going to heal and we're going to continue to perpetuate those parts of our heart in different scenarios, and we're going to struggle and not be able to set boundaries. But what people do is they get very frustrated. I've watched this a zillion times, and me included, I've done this over the years until I learned better, is we get very frustrated and we're going to go in and we're going to set a boundary and we're going to straighten someone out and we're going to take care of it. Well, that's not a boundary. A boundary is where we begin and end, what we're responsible for. And, I end with my skin. It stops, everything within my skin is my responsibility. The purpose of me executing a boundary is to set a limit and establish a fence, so to speak, saying what I will do and what I won't do. There are situations like maybe confronting a spouse on out of control spending, setting a action plan with a teen who's raging, to dealing with adult children and their spouses about the grandchildren. I mean, we can go on with a zillion. But what happens is if you don't have that part of your heart in the process of healing it, and internalizing the love and truth of godly people around you, then what you're going to do is you're going to go into these different situations and you're going to feel worse afterwards. And you're going to think, well, these boundaries are backfiring on me. They don't work. But that's not true. It's not true. We've just got to have the proper method in how we deal with the hurt in our heart or the issues with those godly people, and to give it the process of changing out. You see what I'm saying? So here's the bottom line, though. You will not heal those issues in your heart, and you will not be able to establish healthy boundaries unless you do that in relationship with others. Listen to this closely. Hurt happened in relationships, and it impacts our heart. And the only way for hurt to be healed is in relationships. Does it make sense? We've got to, it's relationships where hurt happened in our heart, and it's relationships on how we fix the hurt in our heart. So let's hear what you have to say. Questions, comments, scenarios, anything. Let's begin to tear this up so that we can impact these and execute these boundaries, so we can have the stability and clarity and order that God promises us. Talk to you later.